Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well. It's time for another weekly track roundup. My thoughts on some brand new tracks and singles, good or bad, or somewhere in between. They're all linked down below, along with our Turntable Lab affiliate link. We get kickback from that if you go and pick up some vinyl records, a turntable, or something of that nature. Also down there is our Patreon page. Support us and get some awesome bonus monthly content in the process. And here we are with the worst tracks. Let's go through them, starting with, we just have a couple. This new one from 42 Dugg, with Future in the mix as well. Maybach is the title of it, and this song just has a stunning amount of vocal fry. I cannot stand it. It makes it absolutely unlistenable. I just don't really kind of get the appeal vocally of the whole thing. I've heard this guy's features before, and prior they've been fine, and I totally support the sentiment of the song and what he's trying to get across. But still, not crazy about this one, unfortunately. We have this new one from BTS, Butter. Everyone's been psyched for this brand new single, and it's not really it, in my opinion. I mean, the tune is okay, but production-wise and vocally, it is completely lacking any sort of finesse. Like, the vocals are just, really loud, overbearing. The synth bass is just sopping up the mix and totally kind of kills the groove. There's no real nuance to this dance beat, and I think it just kind of ruins it. Maybe it's like Butter in that everything's kind of like melting into each other and just really soft and squishy. I wish this dance pop tune had I guess a more toned form to it, I suppose. Let's move on to the tracks I thought were kind of meh. Not crazy about them, but still wanted to shout them out. We have a new one over here from Pond. America's Cup is the title of it. It's got some great dance grooves, though I think the verses fall kind of flat, and the vocals during those verses kind of meander, don't really hit quite as hard as the hook. But again, do love the beats and the more weird dance-oriented direction the band is moving in as of late. We also have this new one from Oneohtrix Point Never and Rosalía crossing over miraculously. She's essentially lending her voice here to this new version of the final track from the latest Oneohtrix Point Never record, and of course her performance is gorgeous, it's stunning, it's beautiful. I would love to hear her more over this kind of production in the future. Is this my favorite song of OPN structurally to begin with? Not necessarily. I mean, it runs kind of like a motif, but still, for the moment that it's on and the moments that Rosalía is kind of in the mix, it is quite impressive. We have a new one from Lil Nas X, Sun Goes Down. More of an introspective, low-key cut teasing toward the new record. Gave a review of it on the Fantano channel. Vocally, I think it's a little underwhelming, but I do appreciate the, intimate and diaristic tone of the lyrics on the track for sure. I think this new record from Nas X is going to shape up to be a personal one thematically and narratively. We have a new one from Lucy Dacus over here, VBS. I like the downtrodden tone of it all, but I don't know. I think it's a little tedious. I think the pacing really could have used some work on this one. Again, like that it's low-key, like that it's moody, but I feel like it's really kind of going nowhere fast, in my opinion. And we have City Girls with their track Twerkulator. It's finally on streaming services. This single art is too much. Look, it's fun. It's got some fun parts, and I especially love the fact that the instrumental here is a nod to Africa Bambaata's Planet Rock, and the City Girls sound pretty decent over this instrumental, but I don't know. I feel like it kind of loses its novelty fast. But still, Hook is pretty cool, and I love hearing this instrumental and this, the legacy of Africa Bambaataa, still in heavy rotation. We have a new one from, we have Birdman and Lil Wayne with Roddy Ricch in the mix. STUNNAMAN. Roddy kills it. Birdman is underwhelming. Wayne is okay. But this thing's pretty underproduced as well. Instrumental's bland as hell, but at least Roddy does his thing, I suppose. And let's move on to the best tracks of the week. We have a handful of those as well. Let's get going with... We have this new one from U-Roy with Santigold, Man Next Door. It's a cover. It's a gorgeous reggae rendition. And yeah, it's just a good track all around. Loving the chemistry between these two, and just like hearing Santigold crossover with a reggae legend. We have a new one from Twin Shadow over here. It's a groovy 80s style pop tune with just great drums, great vocals. Love that Twin Shadow is kind of back in the saddle, making some great stuff. And this new one from Sharon Van Etten and frickin' Angel Olsen is the shit. My God. Like, they're really kind of throwing it back to Heart on this one. Like, man, the vocal chemistry is there. The instrumental is grand and amazing. And just loving the way these two trade off. It's a great song, man. It's a great song. Love that these two have crossed over. You know, they're definitely, as far as like time they've been popular, the lane stylistically they ride in, they're cut from a very similar cloth, but putting them on the same track really kind of illustrates, you know, their respective vocal timbres and strengths. I love the way that Angel's kind of more higher, nasally tone complements Sharon's kind of more bellowing vocal style. It's really good. It's great. It's epic. It's anthemic. Give it a listen. Maybe my favorite song this week. Hell yes. All right, we have Polo G, Lil Wayne, Gang Gang. It's a banger. Wayne kills it on this track, much better than that STUNNAMAN track. And Polo G, quite melodic on his vocals. And this is a really grand and beautiful instrumental that he's on. I like that he's getting a little bit more ambitious on picking his beats. So pretty happy about this one. And we also have Marina, Ancient Dreams in a Modern Land. I like how, I guess... socially charged her tracks as of late have been, and how she's like saying quite a bit, but still coming through with like really coherent, catchy pop tunes with great grooves and memorable choruses. Really turning a new leaf with this new album cycle, I think. So I don't know, just psyched to hear how this is going to develop onto the new LP. This is sounding really good in my opinion. Sounding real good. We also have Lil Baby, Kirk Franklin, and if I heard correctly, Jess Blaze on the production on this track. It's going to be on the Space Jam soundtrack, and why is it so good? Why is it so goddamn good? Like, my God, the horns and Lil Baby just rapping his ass off all over it. I mean, okay, it's just epic as hell. It's epic. We have Lana Del Rey. Okay. So Lana Del Rey over here gave us a bit of a triple dipple with 3 new tracks. Now, my feelings on these songs, I know this is in sort of the best section, but my feelings on these songs vary. But I thought I would throw it in the best section because I mostly like all the tracks. I mostly enjoy all of them. But let me say that the 3 songs, though I do have different opinions of all of them, they do share some common threads. They are all very narrative. They're all very wordy. They read like just words off of the pages of someone's personal journal or something like that. And I guess the instrumentals are somewhat impressionistic, with the exception of Textbook. I think Textbook is the most like clearly formed and structured song of the bunch. It's really the ballad of the trio of songs over here, and I do enjoy it for that quality. Musically and structurally, I think it's the most compelling of the bunch. Blue Banisters, title track to the new LP, is also a very pretty moment, but again, it's much more abstract and impressionistic instrumentally, with a backdrop that is just loaded with layered synthesizers, spacey, atmospheric. Lana's singing in a very expressive way over, these open spaces of synth layers, and it's quite compelling. And I'm liking, sort of the personal storytelling on both of these tracks for the most part. Wildflower, Wildfire is really kind of like the, I guess I want to say, the weak link in the chain here, because I think Lana's, word salad over here lyrically is not going over too well. Not only are we hearing like the weakest rhyme scheme of the bunch, the most painfully basic rhymes of these three tracks too, but on top of it, her chorus is so wordy, it doesn't really go over that well. It just feels like really clunky and awkward. It doesn't really snap in the same way that the chorus does on Textbook or on other tracks that she's done in the past that have pretty strong hooks. But, one thing I will respect about this track, though, is that it does feel like things for her stylistically are going a little full circle on this one, because with the production from Mike Dean here, you do kind of have like those hip-hop style beats kind of coming back toward the back end, which does kind of remind me of like, her big breakthrough debut record. Now, again, I'm not really super crazy about how it went over, mostly on, kind of the vocal and the lyrical end, but I guess it is interesting to see her kind of have that same stylistic reference point, but in a different way this time around. But overall, I thought three tracks are pretty decent and are illustrating a direction that is at least noticeably different than that of her last LP, and see her at least, kind of breaking some somewhat more abstract ground in this bunch of tracks. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out onto the new record. But yeah, 3 new songs from Lana, and quite a bit to make note of and take in on all of them, in my opinion. All right, we have a new one from Japanese Breakfast over here. It is a driving little indie pop and rock jam with a strong hook. Liking that about it quite a bit. A new record on the way soon. Make sure to keep your eyes out for it. And Savage Good Boy is the title of this one. We also have a new one from Bleachers. Oh my God, this song is so freaking good. It's like just got an 80s driving pop and rock vibe to it. And, that era has always been kind of an influence for Jack Antonoff's work, but I think he's doing a really great job of embodying it here. It's got a little bit of Bruce. It's got a little bit of Elvis Costello. It's got that bright kind of new wave sheen on it, and just a roaring hook and just awesome pounding percussion as well. Vocals come off like maybe a little buried, a little soaked, a little hollowed out with the reverb and everything. But still, I think it goes over pretty well. If I didn't already say it, "Stop Making This Hurt" is the title of this track. And we have a black MIDI over here with, I'm going to try to say this, Chondromalacia Patella. It's like this experimental jazz, noise, punk, jam, art, freak shit, and I'm loving it. Can't wait for this new record. The ending is especially good on this track. And we have a Track X, The Guest, the acoustic version of Track X from the band Black Country New Road, and it certainly portrays the song in a new light. Give it a listen if you've enjoyed the band's stuff up until this point. Give it a try. It was certainly enjoyable for me. And there we go. That has been the weekly track roundup, everybody. Those are the tracks I would like to point in your direction this week. You're the best. Love you. Check out all these songs down below, and I will see you in the next video. Anthony Fantano, Weekly Tracks, forever.